Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Jake. This is Sedona. I wanted to sit on the floor just so that Sedona could be in the shot. Babu and Buddy. Don't leave Sedona. Anyways, we didn't watch anything this week besides Succession and Barry, which are very good. We're taking a short trip to Vancouver tomorrow, so I've been doing a director's series, which has been reminding me of just how many movies I have seen of specific directors. Like discovering movies early on, you find a director and then you want to watch all of their movies, and Wes Anderson was one of the big ones in my high school years. I really collected all of his movies and wanted to see everything. Things have changed now. I wouldn't say I've soured on Wes Anderson. I just am less interested in him. But I do have a ton of nostalgia for his movies, and I really respect and admire him as a filmmaker. In making this ranking, was kind of remembering wow, he's made a lot of really good movies. Quite a few of them aren't super Wes. I tend to favor the earlier ones in his career where there isn't as much artifice, which I get is his thing now. There's a lot of intricate production design and the costumes, and it feels almost like a miniature set you're looking at. Makes sense why he's has done a couple of stop motion movies now, but that sense of control, and I love his early movies where there's a little bit less of that control. There's some flexibility, there's some stuff going on, but I also admire his Baroque era Grand Budapest Hotel. There are a lot of aspects to him, and there's the genre like Wes Anderson, and there's I guess they're sort of, a lot of them are genre movies. There's a lot of crime stuff going on in his movies. Anyways, before I get into the list, I will say I have not seen The French Dispatch, and I have not seen Asteroid City. I don't know why I haven't seen The French Dispatch. I think it's on HBO. I should watch it. I really should watch it. Asteroid City, obviously, because as of this recording, it has just come out. Okay. At the bottom of the list, sorry, Sedona, I love dogs. I love you, but I didn't like that movie. I saw this in theaters. I wasn't having a great day as it was, so I would be willing to rewatch this for sure, but I just remember feeling this is too artificial, and I think that's why I favor his live action movies, because when he is in the stop motion world, it's that little freedom, the looseness, the weird stuff actors do, it is, something's lost there, and they're fun and they can be distracting and amusing, but I just felt like he was doing his same stuff. There were no challenging emotional stuff. It was just a lot of really dry humor, and I really felt nothing. More of an intellectual exercise and less of just a heartfelt thing. I don't know. I personally don't like that movie very much at all. Tell me, should I reassess Isle of Dogs? I don't know. Next on the list, we're moving bottom to top, is Darjeeling Limited. It's just boring. I mean, I feel like this is Wes Anderson doing the kind of melancholy vibes, and great actors, and beautiful design and everything. And there are some great, needle drops in the movie, but it's in search of a real story, something that felt, there's just something about certain art house movies. This to me is the kind of movie that when people complain about art house films, they're talking about Darjeeling Limited, in that it's just vibes and, just white guys feeling melancholy and being sad and very privileged, but I don't want to say pretentious, but a little bit, up its own ass. Look, there are people who love this movie, and again, it might just be a matter of because there are some movies that I like of his that are you could say the same thing, they're very up its own ass, but just this one in particular didn't resonate with me, and it felt, it just felt boring. Next up, you guys are going to hate me for putting this as low as it is, I think, but Fantastic Mr. Fox. Now, the only two movies that I actually dislike of Wes Anderson's are Isle of Dogs and Darjeeling Limited. Fantastic Mr. Fox is a good average movie. There are some charming moments to it, but I really loved this book as a kid. I loved reading it, and this didn't hit home with me. It felt a little too winking, just a little too cynical in a way. I don't know. There's just something about it I don't love. It's entertaining, and I can watch it and stuff, but again, there's the artificial feeling to it, the kind of forced emotions. I don't know. It's not something that I've ever needed to rewatch. Again, people love this movie. People talk about it like it's his best movie. A good movie, just not really for me. Next, we have Rushmore. Years ago, I would have put this much higher on the list. I like Rushmore a lot. I've seen it a ton of times. Bill Murray, it has that early Wes Anderson feel where there's the artifice, but there's also just the offbeat humor and it feels a little grounded. Only thing is, I'm a little afraid to watch it again. you know, being a little older now, because I do feel like there's a creep factor to it, you know, that the love triangle with the teacher and Bill Murray, like I don't think they'd make this movie exactly the same way today, obviously, which isn't, you know, to hate on this movie or saying that it should be or should live up to the standards of movies coming out right now. It's just that personally, like, I have such fond memories of it. I don't know if I'm ready to go back and put it in the Blu-ray player and see how it holds up. That wonderful ending, the Vietnam play, like, character of Max is so interesting and so wonderful to watch that he is just kind of like a bastard. I do feel like his cousin in the Wes Anderson world would definitely be, like, in my mind, Ralph Fiennes' character in Grand Budapest, or Bill Murray's character, you know, Zissou. Great needle drop moments as well. Really captures the vibe of, like, the indie movies around that time, and definitely influenced a ton of those movies. But one step above it, I think, is Bottle Rocket. I really love Bottle Rocket. I don't think it gets enough love. I just love Owen Wilson's character, the kind of dreamer who naive but going for it, and it really captures just like the early Wes Anderson, like going out and making that kind of like crazy ambition that young people have is just really charming and super funny. I mean, James Caan is in this movie, and it's amazing. It's a heist story, you know, like I absolutely love that, you know, criminals who suck at their job. It's like my favorite thing. It's Donald Westlake, you know. I wonder now, actually, if Wes Anderson is a Westlake fan, that would kind of make sense, since Westlake was so famous for his crime comedies. These next 4 movies are very interchangeable in my mind, but as of today, this is my ranking. So at number 4, we have Grand Budapest Hotel. Man, I was so hyped when this movie came out. I definitely saw it in theaters. I don't know exactly what I remember liking it, but it definitely is one of those movies of his where I've appreciated it more and more with each watch. There's a lot of layers to it, you know. There famously has a bunch of different aspect ratios and a very sweet story in it. I love always the eccentric characters. Usually there's someone who's like a bulldozer who wants to get things done as a man of action. Then you have the meek one who just gets pulled in his wake. It is like the Bottle Rocket thing. It's, you know, Max Fisher, Steve Zissou. So, I don't know, something I relate to or find charming in that dynamic. This one, the way it is, the crime stuff, there's some wonderful set pieces, you know, murder, mystery. Like, I love when Wes Anderson leans into the genre stuff, like Bottle Rocket, and less like Darjeeling Limited. That's just kind of like indie movie. You know, when it's like the genre stuff, I think he really excels in that. And like very sad, like it has a kind of sad, timeless, beautiful feel to it that people who criticize Wes Anderson say like, well, they're just like artificial and there's no real heart to it. It's just doing the same thing over and over. I just say, you know, watch Grand Budapest Hotel and tell me if you didn't feel anything, you know. There are just some like laugh out loud moments. Like a lot of the humor is so dry, it's just kind of like a chuckle, you know, but that moment when, you know, Ralph Fiennes is, you're trying to arrest me. You think I did it. And he just runs. It's great. You know, there's a lot of that like Buster Keaton style to him. So number 3, The Royal Tenenbaums. I think that was his 3rd feature movie as well. Fantastic. It is the Wes Anderson movie. I think if you're going to show someone Wes Anderson, you got to show them Royal Tenenbaums early, if not first. The Gene Hackman performance, and this is what I love about his like live action movies. You have these great performances, actors from, you know, so many actors will just work with him, and the fact that he was able to get Gene Hackman, which he wrote the part for him, even though Gene Hackman was supposedly like retired and didn't want to do it, but he just brings so much to a movie that could have otherwise been nice and contained, but that kind of wild energy. And I think that like for a Wes Anderson movie to really work, there's all of the structure, there's all of the neatness, the tidiness, the beautiful design. Like there's that part of him, but there's also this wild lunatic that needs to break through, crashing and destroying things. That's the dynamic. That's when it feels balanced, you know. And I think sometimes when his movies don't work, it's because there's too much of the perfection and not enough of the wildness. And gosh, I mean, Gene Hackman in Royal Tenenbaums is perfect at that. You know, Owen Wilson, really standout performances. God, I love this movie. I absolutely love everything about it. Ben Stiller's character, you know, Gwyneth Paltrow, I like the super well plotted, well structured. You know, there's enough going on with each of the characters, and I love Alec Baldwin doing the, you know, narrating and stuff. Like that was super influential on me when I was making, student films, and just even thinking about it, I want to rewatch it soon. Number 2 is very close to my heart. I love this movie so severely. Like, it was my favorite movie for probably a couple years when I was younger. Like, I just think it's wonderful. It's not perfect in any way, and I can totally recognize that. And if I'm going to show someone a Wes Anderson movie, I'll show them, Grand Budapest or something else. But I think The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou is, to me, just such a comfort movie. I don't think it gets enough love, the love that it deserves. I don't know why it didn't do so well or why critics weren't so hot on it, but in Bill Murray, a really charismatic, problematic figure that is kind of like, the Gene Hackman character, or like, the Max Fisher character. He's fantastic in that movie. And the David Bowie, like, that was my introduction to David Bowie, actually. I didn't know watching it the first time, I think I just was attracted to like the Criterion design and everything. And when I saw it, like, I didn't know you could do that with music. I didn't know that you could do that with editing. I didn't know you could frame shots that way. I didn't know you could just have like this offbeat these weird moments and let this awkwardness and then have these like emotional moments too. Like, I didn't realize you could do all of that. I do want to rewatch it soon. But then again, it's like, do I really want to jump in there? I don't know. Revisiting, nostalgic movies can be hard sometimes, and sometimes you just want to like remember it fondly and move on. But no, I should rewatch it soon. Now, number 1, if you've been keeping track, you'll know what it is, but it is Moonrise Kingdom. I just think it's his most perfect movie. I think it captures so many perfect elements, and the fact that it is about kids ultimately really fits with his style and the look and feel of the movie. And this was also the first movie of his I saw in theaters. I was like peak Wes Anderson in my mind. I'm like watching Life Aquatic, I'm watching Royal Tenenbaums, and then this comes out, and I saw it with my aunt and uncle in Boise, and it was hilarious. Like, people loved this movie. Watching it in a theater is fantastic, and I do think it's a great movie to show to someone who hasn't seen any of his movies. The 2 child performances are wonderful. Bruce Willis is so wonderful in this. Edward Norton, the sad, like, sweetness of this like young love and the crazy island that they live on, and there's some artifice there too, but it's not fully there yet. It's not fully, Baroque or whatever you want to call his late style. It's at that perfect balance between early and late period, and I just love it so much. Absolutely perfect. I love Moonrise Kingdom. So, that's my list. What are your favorite Wes Anderson movies? I look forward to seeing Asteroid City, and I think I'll watch The French Dispatch now. Thank you for watching, everyone. We will be back next week. Hope you have a lovely weekend. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.